If you're looking for an original way to tell your life story, tattooing may be the least original form on Earth. After all, the first tattooed human skin dates back more than 5,000 years. Here in the U.S., the impression that goes with a tattoo has gone through hundreds of years of evolution. Still, putting pen to skin has never been more popular, especially in a place like Bend. For many here, sitting for a tattoo is a monthly ritual. Some would even call it an addiction. The belief that the body is a canvas for infinite ink.
Try to get my lines a little darker than I did on Chucky.
It's like a horror film that never ends, never goes away, never fades to black. But for Keone Schneibel, this is exactly where he wants to be.
She'll put me in this pose that makes us all uncomfortable.
Every month for the last 2.5 years, Keone has laid right here for 3 hours at a time, receiving the constant pinch of a pulsating needle drenched in ink, watching his otherwise clear skin evolve into another work of permanent art.
Every time I come in is a surprise, and then we have cool conversation on top of it, right?
A therapy session, Keone calls it, a treat to himself. It's also quite the treat for tattoo artist Holly McClintock. These sessions can cost up to $200 an hour. She, like so many local artists, is always booked out for 6 months or more. How often does a client come in and get a small tattoo and then never get another tattoo?
Not very often. Not very often at all. No.
When Holly and her husband first opened Zen Art Inc. 10 years ago, the competition included just 2 other studios. Today, there are more than 20.
We live in a great state for it.
And at a great time. Brittany Manson is considered a relative newcomer to the business, now entering her 4th year of body artistry. Even she will tell you today's customer is also next month's customer, and the month after, and so on.
Even doing their first tattoo, they instantly know that they're going to get another one. Or they're already, as I'm tattooing them, their first tattoo, they're already looking up different ideas, I want to get this next.
The social acceptance of body art has shifted as much as the quality of the art people are wearing today. That acceptance has made getting your first tattoo a much easier decision, and getting your second, third, and fourth much harder to resist. When you talk about guys like Keone, who have been on the tattoo table now every single month for more than 2 years, it begs the question, is it possible that for some, tattooing can become an addiction? The art, the pain, the look. Well, the answer to that question is quite simple, depending on who you ask.
The numbers tell the story, obviously. Everybody's doing it.
Dr. Vanita Mehta is a clinical psychologist based in Washington, D.C. She is a regular contributor to Psychology Today, specializing in the mental and physical evolution of the tattooing industry and its clientele.
A person may have a hard time cutting back on tattooing because of the sheer sensation of it.
Her research and her patients do tell the story of addiction for some. But unlike drugs and alcohol, a tattooing addiction is an addiction to a want, not so much a need. Think of an addiction to shopping or working out.
I think that tattoos can be the same kind of expression. This is something about me that I really want to present to the world. This is how I want you to see me.
In Bend, when we talk about the tattooing industry, we're not just talking about a growing number of studios. Monolith Tattoo Academy is growing the number of artists to fill those studios. And for the last 3 years, owner Edward Kehoe, a 30-year veteran of the industry, has been turning artists into body artists right here in Bend. Is there enough business in Bend to merit a tattoo school?
Yes. Yes.
Preparing them for their state licensing exam and a career that seems to have no limits. Artists will come from as far away as the East Coast to train here.
This is the future of our business. So we want the best education that we can provide.
So, is an addiction to tattooing what supports this school?
It can be, but I don't like the term addiction.
What term do you like?
I think I would appreciate more of a collection.
For recent four-year college graduate Lou McAtee, turning a fashion marketing degree into a body art business starts right here.
My family don't like tattoos. They are very traditional, very religious.
This native of Indiana graduated college during the pandemic and couldn't find work.
It's well thought out in that aspect.
Yeah.
You know, because doing a bunch of little tiny perfect circles probably would be very difficult.
She knows that won't be a problem leaving here.
I am not aware of any of our students not getting employed.
Immediately after school.
Yeah.
2 doors down from Monolith Academy is Monolith Tattoo Studio, one of 2 studios connected to Kehoe. Inside, another part of the industry's evolution, an upscale environment designed to appeal to a new class of clientele.
I love him. He's my new best friend here.
81-year-old Rhea Jackman says she always wanted a tattoo. Then 5 years ago, she joined her granddaughter at a local studio. It was not what she wanted.
It needs to look like an Edelweiss, not a daisy.
Her new artist, Dave Liu, is fixing that, just in time for Rhea to officiate that same granddaughter's wedding.
We're going to be on the beach, and I'm going to wear sandals and, you know, I'll maybe a shorter dress. And I don't know, it just needs to be set right.
And this piece right here we're working on is not going to look like much by the end of the day. The magic will come later.
Back at Zen Art Inc., Keone Schneibel is ending his 36th straight month of adding to his body art. Despite his gallery of ink and his 100-plus hours on this same table, the thought that he might be addicted to tattooing seems a bit much for him.
It sounds like a question spoken from somebody who read a few books and not necessarily walked the walk, right?
When I asked the question of when does this collection stop,
I would stop at my face.
He wouldn't have one square inch left.
You know?
Too late.
Yeah.
Keone will walk out of here ready to show off his latest horror show art to family and coworkers.
I don't worry about that outcome anymore, you know? Like, every time I come in here, it's like no different than going to the barber, or, you know? Like, I'm gonna come out feeling good, looking good.
Oh, I'm stoked, super stoked.
For those of you thinking about your next tattoo, you already know that every time that needle hits your skin, the result should be thought of as permanent. Yes, there is such a thing as laser tattoo removal. You even have options for that here in Bend. But it can easily take years and cost you 10 times the original cost of the tattoo. So choose those tattoos carefully before exposing your personal canvas to infinite ink. I'm David Clue, Central Oregon Daily News.